are demons.
Not enough pain.
What's up YouTube, it's Kael'Rian back with another video, one right after the other, and today we are talking about preparing for the Battle for Azeroth. At the time you're watching this, there's probably less than a day until the global simultaneous launch of Battle for Azeroth, so if you're rushing to make some last minute prep, here's a good list. We're going to start with some in-game stuff, and then we're going to talk about some out-of-game stuff too, since a lot of channels talk about the in-game stuff, but you got to kind of sort your life out around you in order to maximize your gaming potential. So let's start with the in-game stuff. First of all, if you haven't already done it, go do Darkshore, finish the War of the Thorns event. There's not much to say there about the story. It's a thing, and it's going to lead somewhere, hopefully, in Battle for Azeroth, but it will go away on global launch time. That will mean that the Teldrassil Hippogriff and the Undercity Plague Bat will no longer be obtainable. It also means that an easy chance to farm the class armor appearances that originally were available at the salvage yard in Warlords of Draenor will go away, and you'll be stuck trying to turn in scraps to try to farm them that way. So yes, I would strongly advise getting that done. Also, do the Siege of Lordaeron that just came out this week. It is technically the first quest in Battle for Azeroth, but you can get it done now. Doing it now doesn't necessarily confer a whole lot of additional benefits, other than that you'll lose out on some experience, actually. But realistically, experience isn't that hard to get, and it'll get you a bit ahead of the curve for when the quest push happens to everybody on your server. Next up, you can choose to park in Silithus if you've done Siege of Lordaeron. After Siege of Lordaeron, you are supposed to be pushed the second quest, according to beta testing, which has you go see Magni Bronzebeard over at the Wound to get your Heart of Azeroth. It's a simple little quest. You can park yourself there now, so that as soon as global launch is there, you just log in and just go start. This is tested on beta only, though, so we don't know if that's exactly how it's going to work on live. It could always have some weird issues. We don't know yet, but it's an option. Before parking at Silithus, however, think real hard about War Mode. If you have been playing like I have with War Mode on, if you park in Silithus now, it may be pretty simple to just leave yourself there, but you cannot turn off War Mode unless you're in Stormwind for the Alliance or Orgrimmar for the Horde. So if you leave it on and launch day comes and there's a lot of players to both factions hanging out on Magni, it's probably going to be a shit show. Now, if you really like PvP, it's probably going to be a fun shit show. So maybe keep it on. If you don't like PvP, or you're not particularly good at it, or you just want to get the fuck out of there and start questing, turn it off. Just turn it off now. You'll be fine. You can always turn it back on before you actually head out to Kul Tiras or Zandalar to get your experience bonus, and go from there. After thinking about War Mode, however, it's worthwhile to take a look at stocking up on some consumables. Leveling's pretty easy. I did the 110 to 120 experience on Alpha. It has changed a little bit in terms of experience needed since then. There's also been, of course, little tuning changes here and there to account for mob power. But overall, it's not really all that difficult. If you want to be quick about it, it does help to have some consumables stocked up. You can get things like Legion flasks, food items, get those buffs, get potions if that interests you. You've got a lot of choices there. Just consider your consumable loadout before heading out to Silithus and on to your path to 120. Lastly, there have been a lot of changes that have come with pre-patch. There have been a lot of talent changes. Initial guides on theory crafting sites and some of the theory crafting discords will recommend the best options for 110 with the current talents. Make sure to take a look at your favorite theory crafting site and figure out what's going on for 120. You may want to make those changes now so that while you're leveling, you actually get the right experience of how your class and spec are going to play and feel when you get to endgame stuff. Lastly, just enjoy it. It's going to be a good time. Leveling is always one of the better parts of the initial expansion experience because everything is new. It's always the better polished versions of it. If you've been playing alpha and beta, you might know the paths, you might have familiarity with the sights and sounds, but there's a lot of stuff that gets added in terms of polish, in terms of voice acting, all of that. So just sit back and enjoy it. Have a good time. It's a game, after all. Hopefully. Now, in real life, there's a lot of shit you can do too. Starting with your computer. It's one of the things that Blizzard emphasized a little more with patch 8.0 than they have in the past, but your system needs to be properly updated to make sure that it can meet all of the new system requirements. If you're still playing in 8.0, then you're probably already good to go there, but it is worth checking for new drivers for your hardware, particularly for your graphics card. NVIDIA, if you have a GeForce card, just released on August the 1st a game-ready driver for GeForce cards that has optimization for Battle for Azeroth. Definitely make sure to get those updates. If you're playing off of a mechanical hard drive, which you'll know because your game will take forever to load anytime a loading screen happens, it's worth defragmenting the hard drive that your WoW installation lives on. Take a second to do that. More than a second. Defragging a hard drive will probably take a while, but make sure that's sorted out before you're ready to play. It will optimize your experience. Similarly, make sure you get Windows updates. Make sure you do any maintenance that you need to software-wise in terms of other updates. Just take a quick look at all that stuff. Make sure it's sorted out so that you're good to go. Physically, make sure that your system is nice and clean as well. If you have an older system, blow it out for dust. You can grab a can of compressed air at most stores and most places for a few bucks. And they usually have cool little straws that you can stick into vents and stuff and just blow out the dust. That's well worth it. If you're going to be playing for long periods of time on launch day, you're really going to want to make sure that the system is nice and clean and doesn't have anything that's going to overheat. Dust accumulation on your hardware will actually cause it to accumulate more heat, and depending on how sensitive it is and how hot your room and environment is, that may kill it. So, probably won't kill it, it'll shut it off, and then you'll have to log back in, and if there are server issues, you're going to hate your life. So, that's cool. Clean up your desk. Wherever you're sitting to play the game, just make sure that it's a clean environment. I'm not your dad. I don't know if you have a father. If you don't, I'm sorry. I'm in that boat too. It's okay. But just, if anything, delay the onset of shame. Make sure you don't have wrappers out. Give yourself a place to pile trash that will accumulate as you grind and grind and grind to 120 and then do dungeons and do endgame stuff until you're as geared as you possibly can be before you have to return to normal life. If you can't do that, that's okay. Just remove any reflective surfaces in your gameplay area so that you don't have to look at yourself while you deal with things, you monster. Say goodbye to your loved ones. Make sure that they know that you're going to be playing a game and that they shouldn't try to talk to you or have any sort of meaningful contact with you until you've accomplished all of your in-game goals. Also, since you might lose your job, now's a good time to start thinking about gold farming. There's a mount, I don't know if you've seen it. It's an awesome looking dinosaur that has an auctioneer on it. People will want gold. Maybe gold farming will be a thing again. I don't know. It's worth a shot. Make sure that you try to stabilize your relationships. Tell your loved ones that you do care about them, but you need the pixels. Make sure also to explain to them about how farming the Champions of Azeroth rep is going to empower your in-game character, and that's why you need to be helping in Azeroth right now. Because those extra 15 item levels with every reputation rank, that's going to help you out. It's going to give you a lot of power as a WoW player. And your loved ones need to understand that. All joking aside, most importantly, just have fun. It's a launch day. Play at your own pace. There's no world first achievements anymore. Uldir, the first raid, doesn't open until September 4th. You've got plenty of time to get there. If you're in a Mythic Raiding Guild, yeah, you're probably going to be stuck in your own filth for a little bit, and that's fine. You know what it is. If you're a more casual player like myself, I've got launch day off of work. It's original launch day, not global launch day, so I'm going to have the unfortunate and yet also maybe fortunate experience of being stuck at work when they hit the button to send everything going. And hey, if the servers crash, I'll be at work. If the servers work and crash later, I'll be at work, and then I'll be home for the crash. It's Blizzard's first global launch. It doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot because WoW servers are community specific as far as regions at least. So if something crashes in Europe, it doesn't necessarily mean North America is going to have any problems, but we don't know what it's going to look like until it happens. Launch day is always kind of a shit show. There have been a couple of smooth launch days, but just be prepared for some kind of bullshit. Maybe DDoS, maybe people doing dumb shit, maybe a login server goes down. These things happen. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on, so just, you know, be prepared. If you're trying to take time off still for the day of, you know, just maybe take an extra day or schedule it for Tuesday like I did, where hopefully they'll do server maintenance and everything will be fine. Yeah. So that's about it. Battle for Azeroth is here in, by the time you're watching this, less than a day. So get hyped, get excited. I have a feeling this is going to be a real good expansion. So yeah. And get ready to park on your Uldum portals in your capital. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, leave a comment and let me know what you're doing to prep for Battle for Azeroth. And until the next video, I'll see you next time. And thanks for watching.
Thank you. Back into the fight.